We are investing an additional £2.3 billion a year by 23-24 so that 2 million more people can access NHS-funded mental health support.
Rachel Hopkins.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Well, the Royal College of Psychiatrists research shows that between July 21 and July 22, referrals to child and adolescent mental health services increased by 24%. Labour set out a fully costed plan to recruit 8,500 new staff. Why has the government failed to put forward its own plan to recruit more mental health staff to reduce waiting times?
Well, actually, we are recruiting more mental health workers. It's increased by 7,400 full-time equivalents by September 2022 compared to September 21, and that's reflective of the significant additional funding we are with that extra £2.3 billion a year that's going in by 23-4.
Jeff Smith.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Perinatal mental health problems affect 1 in 4 new or expectant mothers, and 40% of deaths within the first year after pregnancy are related to mental health. So what steps are the government taking to improve support for women with perinatal mental health needs, particularly in the light of the Women's Health Strategy?
Well, he raises an extremely important point, and along with the additional investment that we're putting into mental health, along with the extra workforce, we're also looking as part of our strategies in other areas, our suicide strategy, for example, looking at our capital investment. So there's a range of measures to address what is a very important issue that he raises.
Christian Blunt.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My right honourable friend is aware of the evidence of the psychedelic class of drugs for more effective mental health care. Last month, Australia, having assessed the evidence concerning psilocybin, started the process to reschedule. From July, Australians suffering from depression will be able to access this medicine. In the USA, the FDA has recognised psilocybin as a breakthrough therapy for depression. In Canada, the Special Access Programme allows clinicians to request a licence for assisted therapy under certain conditions. Our drug laws remain based on a 50-year-old, unevidenced, prejudiced assessment and nothing else. The Home Office has never commissioned evidence on psilocybin. Does my right honourable friend understand that this issue is a primary public health issue which he should lead?
Seriously.
Well, I recognise the close interest my right honourable friend has taken on this issue, and he's right to draw the House's attention to international best practice. And I agree with him that we should take an evidence-based approach. We should look at what data has been shared with regulators in other countries such as Australia, and I'm very happy to draw the point he raises to the attention of our regulators.
Kelly Thomas.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Anorexia affects many young people, and my constituent has had to give up work to look after her daughter after being diagnosed with anorexia nervosa. And after a number of attempts, overdose attempts, and the latest was just 2 weeks ago. She's also suspected with suffering from an OCD and ASD, but she's been told that the wait for diagnosis is over 2 years. Can my right honourable friend outline what support that we could possibly give to her family and my constituent, and have we thought about personal budgets so that if the NHS are unable to treat them, they can seek that treatment outside of the NHS?
So stay.
Well, my honourable friend raises an important point, and I'm very happy to look at the individual case that she raises. But the wider objective with the extra funding that's going on is to ensure we are treating more people. 2 million more can access NHS-funded mental health support by 23-24, and indeed a fifth more patients in talking therapies in last year compared to the year before. But I'm very happy to look at the case she raises.
Shadow Minister Dr Rosanna Alden-Carr.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. There is a mental health staffing crisis of the government's own making. Figures out last week show that there are more than 28,000 mental health vacancies in our NHS, up on the year before and the year before that. Are we seeing a pattern here? The number of mental health nurses is down 5% since 2010. But don't worry, just so the Secretary of State is aware, Labour have a plan to recruit and retain more mental health staff and get waiting times down. So can he put a word in with the Chancellor in case he wants to nick that too?
Well, it's always good to find a plan she actually agrees with the Shadow Health Secretary on, which, as we know from health questions, is not always the case, not least on the use of the independent sector. What we do know with health questions is a habit for writing a question before she hears the previous answers. We've just had an answer where I reminded the House that there's 7,400 more staff in mental health in September 22 compared to 21. Obviously, she'd written her question before that point.